What is up, everybody? Welcome to Heads Up Play. We are into our other SEC preview for the 2024 season. We have discussed a lot of teams. It's time to move up to the next team that we think has a lot of potential. A lot of people
A lot
sleeping
of
on this
potential.
team. We are of course, talking about
Please don't do this.
the Auburn Tigers. Let's get into it.
That better be the one and only time you ever put that thing on your head.
Oh, I hate this thing. I want to burn it. It's my wife's. I really want to burn it. I walk in her room and it mocks me.
So, for
Get out of
those that don't know, John Rivers and I, we are from the state of Alabama. However,
here.
we are
Yeah.
most certainly not Auburn fans. I'm
Nope.
sorry.
You
Sorry,
got two
Auburn
kinds of people.
fans. Look, and I got, look, obviously, you now, being a married man, you married into an Auburn family. My dad's side of the family, him and his family, all Auburn fans. So it's like we're homes divided right now.
This is the first time I've really, not interacted, but like been close to someone that's been this much of an Auburn fan. And then J Dub, big Auburn fan.
Big Auburn fan, J Dub. I see that's different. See, I'm marrying into someone who is an Alabama fan, which is really nice. But I grew up, my dad always yelling at the TV during the Auburn games. The Iron Bowl was a hellacious time in my household. And we're going to talk about the Iron Bowl a little bit. But let's go ahead and get started. So you mentioned it. Yes, absolutely. The Auburn Tigers. This is a sleeper team. Do I think personally that this is a sleeper team that could compete for a SEC championship? No. But I do think that this team is going to be much improved as opposed to year one, 6-6 under Hugh Freeze.
They got what we said that they needed to get. And what was the position that they needed to get, Sam?
Quarterback, which they actually did not. But aside from
Wide
that,
receiver.
wide receiver. Yes, they did.
You see it in the NFL. You can put the you can put the worst quarterback out there, but you give him some weapons. Oh yeah, but look at Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco. You put him in the right system with the right weapons, he's amazing. Put him in Oakland, new receiver, new awful, 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 awful. Same way with college. You have Hugh
Alexa,
Freeze,
stop.
who's a awesome play caller. I believe awesome play caller. You got some receivers, you got some freshmen, you got some transfers. I really think if Peyton Thorne does not succeed, oh God, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, look, I really expect the offense to take a huge step forward this year under Hugh Freeze. You bring in Derek Smith, who was at Ole Miss for a long time, mostly as a running backs coach,
Was it
actually.
Derek
Then
Smith or Nix?
Derek Nix, excuse me, not Smith. Derek Nix, he was a
That's
longtime
my
running
favorite.
backs coach at Ole Miss.
That's
Been
my
there a long
favorite.
time. Yeah, that's your boy. I bet your dad knows him. So running backs coach for a long time. I believe he coached wide receivers for a while too, and I think he ended up being offensive coordinator at one point within the past few years. And look, he's had some really successful offenses at Ole Miss. However, hard to know if those offenses are attributed to him or Lane Kiffin, because Lane Kiffin is a fantastic offensive mind, as we know as well. But who is also an offensive mind is Hugh Freeze, and last year was very, very lackluster. We thought it would be a much more explosive offense, but like you said, you bring in some really good wide receivers, Perry Thompson and Cam Coleman especially, two really, really good-looking freshmen. I think they're going to have really good careers. And let's not forget, Cody Schrader at Missouri is gone. Quinshaw Judkins at Ole Miss. He's now at Ohio State. I think that opens up some doors for Jarquez Hunter to be the best running back in the SEC in 2024. Do you agree or do you not agree?
I agree 100%. I thought he was amazing last year for situation he was in. They had no receivers whatsoever. They got the transfer from Penn State. What was his name? I cannot remember his name.
I can't remember his name. Oh, Keandre Lambert-Smith.
Yep, got him. You got Robbie Lewis. You got tight end, who's a stud. I mean, he is a stud. It reminds me of Kyle Pitts the way he plays. He can play kind of anything. Percy. No, what's his name? Might have been Robert Lewis. I gotta look that up. Give me a second. That's gonna bother me. But you added the receivers that you needed. Crucially, you needed these receivers bad because I mean, Peyton Thornton was out there by himself. But now you got the receivers that you wanted. You got the tight end that you wanted. I mean, you got what is his name? I'm about to pull it up
Well,
now.
while we're looking for that, let's go ahead and talk about the defense as well. Look,
I think the defense is gonna be amazing.
that was one of, if not maybe the most underrated defense in the SEC last year. I mean, this is a defense that held an explosive Georgia
Rico
offense.
Walker.
Rico Walker. Yeah. So great tight end. So yeah, this was a defense that held Georgia down. They held Alabama down. The defense, despite Hugh Freeze being such an offensive guy, the defense was the winning part of that program last year, and I think they're going to be just as good this year.
And now with the defense coordinators that they have, the two Kofis with Alabama native Charles Kelly
and the murderer
and DJ Durkin, baby, don't take no water breaks. DJ Durkin, you got those two at defense. Oh boy, with that defensive line they got, oh my god! I mean, the line they got so many. I'm gonna read off on how many seniors they have on this team. It's ridiculous. I mean, when you have a bunch of seniors on a team, you're gonna be good.
Oh yeah.
The seniors on defense, starting off, you have one with Jason Jones. He's the nose tackle. You got another one with Isaiah Ralkins and Gage Keys. Oh no, Keys is junior. Your middle linebacker and your wide linebacker, all seniors. You got your free safety, both of them seniors. I'm telling you, dude, look out for Auburn's defense. You don't really hear that a lot with Auburn sometimes, but this has the makings. When they have those teams that are just magical, this is the making for a magical Auburn team with both the offense and the defense combining.
Does it not give you kind of vibes of like this could be one of those 2013 Auburn type teams that maybe they're not national championship good, but they could be really sneaky good.
They'll ruin your season. They're going to play spoiler to somebody this year.
Like one of those 2013, 2019 Auburn teams, yes.
It was 2019. The team that beat Georgia and Alabama in one season.
Beat the crap out of Georgia. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. And then they had to play them again. Unfortunately, they had to play them again in the SEC championship. But I'm pulling it up, and we'll get onto it. But I'm telling you, there's at least a couple of games I have them losing, but they could definitely win just by where they're at in that season.
The big, and I mean big question mark for this team is, can Peyton Thorne take that next step? And it's not just can he take that next step, he's got to take about 15 steps because he was so lackluster last season. And we thought, okay, yeah, he did good. Hugh Freeze did really good getting some wide receivers and some other help, but there were some really good quarterbacks in the portal, and he said, we're sticking with Peyton Thorne. You and I, we did not understand that whatsoever based on his performance last season. Really did not seem like he could stand up to the SEC. Did he have some good games? Sort of, but like Alabama and Georgia, but those could also be attributed to the defense. It's one thing to have really good wide receivers, and you mentioned it. It could go either way, right? A really good wide receiver can make a poor quarterback look really good. But it can go the other way around, too. I mean, imagine if Julio Jones had Bryce Young as his quarterback and not Greg McElroy and A.J. McCarron, right? Imagine how different his career would have been in college. So,
well, kind of the same with Amari Cooper with Blake Sims. If he would have had a Bryce Young or a Mac Jones or a Bryce Young.
Yes, or a Tua. Right. I mean, so we'll see. They're going to get out in space, but he's got to get on the ball. And there were plenty of times last season where, I mean, he was just not even close throwing the ball.
Well, the thing is that shocks me to go back on, like you said, their backups are redshirt freshmen and redshirt sophomores and then a true freshman. There is no if it's not Peyton Thorne, you got to throw out their true freshman, Walker White, who I think is going to be who I've
He'll be a stud.
told you. I think he's gonna be a stud. I think,
But
he'll
he's
be
too
the
young
one.
right now. I mean,
He's too
you
young.
can't just throw him out there, immediately.
They should, and we've talked about this on the podcast. Should have went after Jordan McLeod from James Madison. Should have went after like a KJ Jefferson, someone, just
You
another.
had Cam Ward in the portal. You had Alabama native Riley Leonard in the portal, and you didn't go get him. You had so many names, yet you decided to stick with who was
You couldn't
near the
even get a
bottom tier of.
backup.
You're right.
Oregon got a backup. They got
Right.
Deontay Moore, who was the second.
Yes.
They were in the top 10. They got a backup. This is a make or break season for Hugh Freeze because he's stuck with Peyton Thorne.
Yes, and that's not to say that we don't think that they could be really good, because we do think that they will be good. But I think Peyton Thorne being the quarterback or not being the quarterback is the difference between what we think is an 8-4 season with him, without him, and you have even just a slightly better quarterback. Hey, this could be a 10-2 or a 9-3 team with the rest of the weapons that they have. But let's go ahead and get into the schedule. So let me get this pulled up if my mouse
There's
wants to
one
work.
game on here that, and I know you're thinking the same game with me, that makes or breaks Auburn season right here.
So let's go ahead and look at it. All right. And I think I think I know which one you're talking about, because it's kind of right there in the middle of the season. But let's kind of go game by game. Most of these schedules that we've looked at for some of the prior teams, we haven't really gone game by game, but I want to talk about actually those first 3 games there. Alabama A&M, Cal, and New Mexico. Do you agree or not agree that Auburn has for so long not done very well at scheduling non-conference games?
I can't say that. They had Penn State a couple of years ago.
They did have Penn State. That's a good point. I forgot about them.
They used to have Clemson and all that when it was. Can't really say that.
I guess you're right.
I think it's one of those. Let's schedule Cal because it's a California team. Like let me look up their, because you can always see who their future opponents are, non-conference.
I do believe they play Miami at next year, the year after, or something like that. Miami or someone, and that's good. And I did forget about Penn State, but Cal.
They play Baylor. They play Baylor.
That's right.
25, 26, and then they play UCLA. And then you got Miami.
Miami way out there. So yeah, those first 3 games: Alabama A&M, Cal, New Mexico. Those should all be wins. Arkansas, that's at home. That's a win. And then a big-time game right here. We've got them winning against Oklahoma. I do believe that this is a home game against Oklahoma. Oklahoma, we talked about it. We made some Oklahoma fans mad. Sorry, OU fans. We don't think Oklahoma's going to have a great first season in the SEC. And that's a big game for both teams right there. If Auburn can get a big win at home against Oklahoma, watch out. I think they've put themselves in prime position for a big-time bowl game.
And then they'll get their ass beat.
They'll get their ass beat.
The game on here I'm looking at, they might play spoilers to, is that game October 19th. If I had to pick a spoilers game, that's the game. That and, of course, the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, I wonder just how good Missouri is going to be this year. Everybody's very high on Missouri, but they lose Cody Schrader. Do they still have Luther Burden, Brady Cook, the rest of that really good offense? But are they? I mean, they did lose some guys. Are they going to be the same? We'll have to see. I can definitely see if Auburn plays well, and we're thinking they're going to play as well that we think they're going to play, they could pull some sort of upset against Missouri.
And I could see them beating A&M. I mean, it's just too early. If they come out there 5-0 and they beat Missouri, oh yeah, they're beating A&M.
I've got them losing to A&M because I'm pretty high on Mike Elko. Mike Elko is sort of like a Kalen DeBoer. I mean, like, he's just won just about everywhere he's at. You know, if he can take a Duke far, I think he can take A&M pretty far with his resources.
If fair help Alabama, I agree 100%.
And then the Iron Bowl there at the end of the season. Look, Auburn has not won an Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa since 2010, the comeback. Could this be the year? I don't know, but Iron Bowls.
I thought they've won one lately.
Not in Tuscaloosa. So we'll see about that game. I do think that is a loss, but if Hugh Freeze can end, like let's say Alabama's beaten Georgia, beat Oklahoma, LSU, Missouri. Let's say Alabama's undefeated into the Iron Bowl, and Auburn strolls in there with 2 or 3 losses and pulls a major upset against Alabama. Oh my gosh, how Auburn fans would react to Hugh Freeze in that.
Oh God.
Golly. We'll have to see, but any final thoughts for Auburn going into 2024?
As much as I hate Auburn, you're going to see improvement with Hugh Freeze year 2. You're going to have to. If not, I'm not saying he's going to get fired, but if it backfires, this Peyton Thorne experiment, that seat gets a little bit hotter. I'm not saying he's going to get fired. I'm just telling you, it ain't as cool as it is right now.
I agree. Will Peyton Thorne develop? What has he done in the offseason to get better here in 2024? Who knows? You got some extra weapons to help him out. We will see. We are pretty high on Auburn. Again, don't think they're going to be competing for any sort of playoff or even an SEC championship, but don't sleep on the Auburn Tigers. But let's get out of here. Hit him with it, JR.
You stay classy.
Stay classy.